London, counter-terrorism officers secretly recorded an alleged ISIL-inspired terror cell in East London's Barking borough last month discussing how to use YouTube to plot a van and knife attack in London, the Daily Telegraph can reveal. The investigators were monitoring the alleged extremist cell weeks before Saturday night's attack in the capital, which left 7 dead and 48 injured. Sunday, police arrested 12 people in connection with the plot, all of them in Barking and other parts of East London, where at least one of Saturday's killers was believed to have lived and carried out early morning raids Monday. The assailants have not yet been named, but police say they know their identities. Speaking on the BBC on Monday, London Police Chief Cressida Dick said that the majority of recent attacks have had a domestic centre of gravity, although with some of them there are undoubtedly international dimensions. Officers revealed Sunday that they fired an unprecedented 50 bullets at the attackers, who wore fake suicide belts to maximize panic and fear. 3 terrorists shouting "This is for Allah" as they stabbed at their victims were killed by police just 8 minutes after the alarm was raised shortly after 10 p.m. on Saturday. Now the Daily Telegraph has learnt that police had been monitoring an extremist cell in that area since March. An unnamed friend of one of the terrorists claimed Sunday he had reported the man to the police anti-terrorist hotline after he became radicalized by watching extremist videos on YouTube. He said the attacker had listened to hate speeches by the infamous American Islamist Ahmad Musa Jibril. A neighbor of one of the suspected attackers claimed she had reported him to Barking police 2 years ago, after he began brainwashing her children at a local park. She said she had confronted him after her 2 children came home and said, "Mummy, I want to become a Muslim." Police confirmed Sunday that 3 men drove at speed across London Bridge in a hired van, knocking down pedestrians, before leaving the vehicle at nearby Borough Market and marauding through bars and restaurants, stabbing and slashing indiscriminately at victims. One of the terrorists reportedly shouted, "This is for my family, this is for Islam," as he plunged the knife into a 23-year-old victim who is now in hospital. In the recent surveillance operation in Barking last month, one suspected jihadist discussed what appears to be an identical plot. The Daily Telegraph has discovered that one alleged suspect said the intended method was to use a car as a weapon and boasted that he had radicalized more than a dozen students in Barking wanting to martyr themselves. He said the plot would involve driving at pedestrians and then getting out of the vehicle to attack others. He added, "YouTube videos all make it properly easy to do." One of the plotters talked about getting an automatic vehicle, so the boys can drive it. A neighbor of one of the men shot dead by police on Saturday said he had asked him about where he could hire an automatic van, during a conversation when the neighbor was using a hire van to move furniture. The men under surveillance are also said to have talked about attacking a bridge and going to the gym to make their arms more powerful and therefore more lethal when using knives. Neighbors said the London Bridge attack suspect was a keen gym user. Material connected to the alleged plotters who were being tracked last month included pages from the Islamist magazine Brainwashing, which suggested the easy prey include a drunken kafir, non-believer. The men had also discussed using the secure communications platform Telegram. Both Telegram and Brainwashing called for ISIL followers to carry out terrorist attacks during Ramadan. Election campaigning by the Conservatives and Labour was suspended for most of Sunday as a mark of respect but resumed last night, and Thursday's polling will go ahead as planned. May said violence can never be allowed to disrupt the democratic process. Security at polling stations is expected to be increased on Thursday, and Metropolitan Police Assistant Commissioner Mark Rowley said there would be increased physical measures on London's bridges to protect the public. The Prime Minister is expected to chair a meeting of the government's Cobra Emergency Committee Monday morning before boarding her battle bus to begin the final 3 days of campaigning. Following May 22 attack in Manchester, Saturday night's van and knife rampage was the second mass casualty attack to intrude on the home stretch of a parliamentary campaign that was once thought certain to end in a landslide for Prime Minister Theresa May and the Conservatives. The race has tightened in recent weeks, and terrorism has introduced an unexpected variable. Rival party leaders lashed out at one another as the nation mourned. With her premiership on the line, May took an aggressive and combative tone Sunday, telling the nation that enough is enough and insisting that there is far too much tolerance for extremism in our country. Things need to change, May said in a speech outside the Prime Minister's residence at 10 Downing Street. She blamed the attack on the evil ideology of Islamist extremism, called for a thorough review of the nation's counter-terrorism policies and suggested that she will take a much tougher line if she wins Thursday's vote. The speech was criticised by the opposition Labour Party as a thinly veiled jab at their far-left leader, Jeremy Corbyn, whom May has often accused of coddling anti-Western militants. May, Corbyn's backers said, had politicised the attack. But by evening, Corbyn had hit back with his own political response to the killing, accusing May and her Conservative allies of weakening security services through years of austerity. "You cannot protect the public on the cheap," Corbyn said in a speech in the northern English city of Carlisle that ended a brief pause in formal campaigning. "The police and security services must get the resources they need, not 20,000 police cuts." Right double quotation mark. Corbyn also derided President Donald Trump, accusing him of lacking both grace and sense after the U.S. leader twisted a quote from London Mayor Sadiq Khan to launch an attack on the West's most prominent Muslim politician. May, who has gone to great lengths to cultivate ties with Trump, had earlier defended Khan while carefully avoiding any criticism of the U.S. president.